Hey guys, I have a little interesting stream for you. This is going to be for the Golf Clash, the tour. If you haven't heard of it, it is going to be a round 5 match. Now, the way that this tournament is set up right now is for Tour 3, basic ball only, and you have to use blue clubs. So all my cards, you see me switching my bag. That's my preferred bag for Tour 3. Of course, let me put basic ball on as well. And let's go ahead and find my opponent. There he is. And basically, this is round 5. So we've played, like 4 other matches, same setup. It's kind of it's a best of 4 game here. So it's kind of a race of 4, and kind of the best way you can get there. Kind of all rolls are off. Aside from you'll see some pretty crazy things. People going for dunks, people going for crazy hooks. It's just kind of a real fun type setup. If you haven't seen it and want to, if you haven't seen that Facebook page, I believe it's called Golf Clash Elite the Tour or something. You can look for it, and I'm pretty sure it's a closed group. You can probably find it. You can search for it, I believe. And what I like to do here is about a three ring hook. I like to do it with curl on as well, and just kind of shoot it towards this other fairway. And we got lucky to have the wind there, so I was able to do that with ease. Now with quarterback on, you can't always do that shot. So I just kind of got a little lucky. Well, we got a little lucky. It's not just me, so he's going to be able to do the same thing. He might not. You don't have to hook it here. You can do it without a hook, but for dramatic effect, it's a little bit more interesting to watch with a mega shank hook. As you see, both of us taking that approach. Plus, I think it's a little bit easier to actually, when you do those big hooks, it's a little bit easier to have accuracy. So if you were to go for a perfect ball shot with a full curl shot, you have to worry about your timing on perfect ball, whereas I really didn't have to deal with that there. So the shot that I like to do here, well, first off, I'm usually at sniper range, so this is already a little bit different. Now I usually use a little bit of backspin here to try to get this. I think this is actually probably an easier shot with sniper, because I can actually see the ball guide. But what you're going to see me do here, so this hole does play uphill, so I might usually go, 1 per ring or pretty close to 1 per ring. But here, since it's a little uphill on this hole, I'm going to do more like, 1.2, 1.3, somewhere in that range. Ah, great ball. Not necessarily going to cost me the hole, but it's going to shoot it to the left and make it change. So I probably had the hole out had I hit perfect ball. So a little unlucky there. Because I'm pretty sure I had it had I hit my perfect ball, and it just didn't have the momentum. There's another alternate approach you can use. See, this is a little bit easier with sniper. You can really see the ball guide. This is the first time that I've actually got to do this with a backbone. So it's a little bit different approach for me. I would almost rather hit the rough like he did, just so I had something that I was a little bit more used to. I had to kind of create this one the fly with backbone, because in this entire tournament, I haven't been able to get up that far. So that was the first time that I got to do that, and just kind of set up for a little bit different than what I'm used to. And here, let's see if he can get this one to fall in. Oh, nope, he got a little bit too much hill there. So, you know, the best approach here is to kind of, you know, use your guide and get it going up towards that hill. And, you know, I've seen guys 2 different ways make it, kind of the way that I was doing it, more straight at the hole. But you can also use the backstop there to the left. But speed is the most crucial factor when you try it with that left approach up the hill. The speed becomes way more, you know, refined, where you have to be exact, precise on how much you use. So, you know, I prefer, you actually saw my approach. That's my preferred method if I can pull off that shot. Now, if it's kind of in between or something, not necessarily, you know, the way that I say that is the best. But under that circumstance, yeah, I kind of like that shot. And let's see if I can't pull this shootout off. Now, this usually plays a little bit downhill. I like to do it with backspin, as you can see. I'm going to go my full 5 rings here at least, because I think this hole tends to play a little bit downhill. Here, you see, I'm just going to put just ever so slightly curl back on this, just to kind of keep it from deflecting. And here I'm coming in too hot. As you can see, you know, the 5 rings wasn't enough for 4.7. I think I might have even gone just slightly over 5, and it still wasn't enough. So it was more like probably a 6-ring adjustment. And part of that has to do being downwind, but it does play, you know, I wasn't quite at max club, so you would think that under normal circumstances you might take off a little bit, and you're seeing my shot. I really didn't. I needed to kind of take off more than you saw me do there. So let's see if he can't pop this up in here. Hit a pretty solid shot and pull off round 1 for the win here. Just a little short. It's going to come down to inches on this one. He got me barely. So, like I said, best, it's kind of a race to 4. It doesn't have to be 7 games, but it basically comes down to basically first one to get to 4, and we'll see if we can't come back from that first hole. So in this one, I also like to do another. Ooh, that's an interesting wind. So what's nice about this wind is I should be able to go max power and keep it short of that bunker. So that's what I'm kind of testing there. And again, with quarterback, I'm kind of like a 3 full bullseyes guy, but I'm starting to play the wind. So instead of playing like more aggressively, I'm playing off the right of my bullseye. So I'm going to come out just a little bit, and then I'll go those full 3 bullseyes, and I'm pretty sure that it should be in the wind enough to, as you see, it pops over the bunker instead of hitting into the bunker. So that when it's into the wind like that, and I can just kind of max hit it, it makes it a little bit easier to pop it over that bunker and not have to worry about, you know, hitting it too hard. Whereas under normal circumstances, when I do that curl, and plus the tee shot tends to kind of go a little bit downhill on this initial approach, so it'll go an extra ring or 2. So you usually have to factor that in. But with it being into the wind here, I just went ahead and popped it a little bit short of that bunker, and I figured, you know, I'd be good with my adjustment on that one. And depending on the wind, I like to do different things here. So you can go for the dunk here. I am not going to go for the dunk. I'm kind of mid-club here. This likes to play a little bit downwind. I'm going to see if I can't. So this is a pretty easy wind for you to be able to get it front door here. So it's one of the few instances that I'm going to go for this shot. Now, I'm going to play it kind of close to maybe 1.8 per ring, because I'm kind of in between mid-club, so maybe I'm going to go two rings here. See if I can't get this one to pop in. And there you have it. Got the eagle. And the way that you know, this guy has the Saturn versus the backbone. The Saturn makes it a little bit more of a approach where you'll see guys go for a lot more dunk shots. The guys using the Saturn versus the backbone, they'll do things a little bit differently usually. So it looks like he's going for, you know, kind of like second, third hop into the whole approach here. So let's see if he can't get this. What's nice about what you're seeing there is his second hop and third hop are kind of close to one another. So it could, you know, potentially, if he missed the second hop, could potentially maybe make the third hop as well. So you get kind of two chances to make that. Let's just say, you know, for instance, that he maybe great balled left and it took some of the hill. Maybe the third or might still roll in with that approach. So it's kind of an interesting one. Okay, so what I like to do here, just for accuracy purposes, I'm going to do more or less the same thing. I'm going to do my curl shot here. I'm going to play the wind. So here's kind of my target. I'm going to play an extra two rings for that wind there. And I'm just trying to be a little precise here, because this is a very tricky tee shot. So what I like to do, I like to take some of this curl off and just kind of counter it back a little bit. And kind of shoot it towards this gap. Let's see if I can't pull this off. Looks pretty good. So I use like a counter curl, but to keep it kind of going to the right there, you're seeing me take a little bit of that counter curl off. And I do that shot mainly for accuracy. You see me be able to thread it through the trees, not have to do much curl. I'm basically doing the curl with my counter curl, but I'm taking some of it off there just so you can kind of see it thread through there perfectly. So with this one, I usually like to go for this rough shot, and this wind is really small. Wow. I usually go for this spot right here. It's going to be a little trickier with me being at max club, like a yard short, but I'm probably still going to go for this. It just seems like a good risk-reward type situation here. I landed short. It almost went in the bunker, so I got lucky. I didn't quite add enough power. being kind of in between clubs there, so I had to guess how much power I needed to go into, and I didn't quite guess enough. And let's see, the problem with the shot that I just went for, it was kind of like really risk reward. When you miss your perfect ball, it tends to land. So if I would have missed my perfect ball, it would have, no question, 100% been in the bunker there. So just kind of one of those things that, you know, it's a little risky where I was going. This is what I usually do, is what you're seeing him do here, Bobby do. I usually do it with some curl, just like that, and just kind of feed it towards the hole, because it's very safe. You have room to shank it, great ball either way, and give it a run at the hole as well. So here we're going to go into another shootout here. Let's see what we're fortunate enough to get here for a little tiebreaker action. So on this one, let's see who Bobby goes first. So I'm assuming, so he's got Saturn. Usually, like downwind, you know, I would imagine with the Saturn, you'd probably play it off the fairway here. It looks like he's still going to play it off the fairway with some power. When it's into the wind here, sometimes I'll play it off that rough, and that's probably the shot I'm going to go for. I'm going to wait and see how close he is first before deciding. Because I can also play this fairway as well. I have a couple more yards than Saturn does. So that's one of the reasons that I actually put backbone in the bag, is because of the little bit of extra distance. But here, I think I'm just going to funnel this to the hole with a little bit of front spin here. Now, when you do these corrections, I usually overcorrect. So you'll see me go more 5 rings, and I'll go maybe a little bit more right of where I want to aim, because when I put this curl on, it's not going to want to curl back as much. So it won't quite get to as right as you're aiming, which can kind of bode well for you when you bring it in that way, because it gives you the air to do like a great ball shank to the right and not be in the, and not actually hit it into the you know, the bunker there, which is nice. So here we are, nice little par 5 here, real straight hole. I usually use this kind of counter curl method on this one as well. There's a lot of fairway here. It looks like he's taken off a little bit of power. You really don't need a lot of power here. You can make a mistake on this drive and just do like a layup shot. For the most part, you're playing for your eagle shot, and you know, depending on how good the wind is, there's a couple ways to kind of play the second shot, but I tend to kind of stay over in the second fairway, onto the right side of that first fairway, as opposed to popping it over. Just kind of like the way that I like to play it. And again, I kind of get my bearings here. Let's see if I can't groove this one right down the middle here. Did I put the spin on? Yep. Make sure I did that. And I just try to ride the left side a little bit, is what I typically like to do. And just kind of, you see how it's just kind of drifting over down there. Wow, this is a very rare occasion. I have enough wind here that I can basically shoot for the green, which is crazy. That never happens. So, a little bad break for Bobby here. Let's see what I can get going. It looks like I can go for the hole. Now, with basic ball, you got to be a little bit more careful when you're trying to thread this through here. Now, I was a little late on my shot there. I might shoot into this left rough over here. Yep. Back into the fairway though. So this kind of changes my game plan, because I usually go for a different angle. So I'm not really used to being over here. And of course, being late on that kind of hurt me. It didn't quite thread through there, and I would have had an easy pitch. Even if it didn't get on the green, it would have been a relatively easy pitch up by the green had I been able to thread that. So let's see what I can get. Let me see where I am in terms of length from the hole here. Looks like I'm at claw distance. So there's kind of two ways that you can kind of do this. It's probably a little bit nicer to have a thorn in this situation if I'm going to go. The wind's a little bit high, but I like to just kind of funnel it. So if I can kind of use my claw to kind of do kind of a stop shot on this hill, I can get it coming back down the hill towards the hole here. I'm going to be a little bit towards max here, so I'm going to do almost a 3-ring adjustment. I'm going to counter it just ever so slightly to get it coming back kind of on its natural arc. And let's see if I can't get this going towards the hole somewhere. Yep, I got it. So let's go into the next hole, see what they give us. Lovely par 4 here. Not my favorite. Not a big fan of this drive, not a big fan of the second shot. Let's see what I can get going here. I want to take off a little bit, kind of like he did. I don't like to start bringing the rough into the picture. So definitely, you know, take off as opposed to sending it to the end there. It's just not worth the risk, in my opinion. And there's certain distances here that you're supposed to leave it. I really don't remember where it is, but we can kind of get in between clubs here, so I'm hoping that we're not. And it doesn't look like we are, which is good. Now, what I like to do is I like to go for that rough shot. What he's aiming at here. With this wind being as high as it is, I don't know if I'm actually going to go for this. Because I only like doing it when you can be relatively precise. And I feel it's a little bit harder to get it going towards the hole to go in when the wind gets up a little bit higher. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you are doing this shot, the shot is uphill. So you want to take off a little bit on your adjustment. So for here, maybe I'd do maybe like a 3.5 ring adjustment. Oh. Wow. That's unlucky. And of course, I want to get just a little bit extra on my curl here. So I'm going to play this off the right of my bullseye, just to get the ball working back just a little bit extra. Just play it somewhere in between there. I don't think I need quite full, so I'm just trying to do somewhere in between. So I played it like a little bit right center there. I hate when that happens, when you can't get that perfect ball timing out of the bunkers. So frustrating because the ball just shanks right off to the, the right or the left. So there you have it. That is the last of our matches here, and I am going to basically cut off this stream. For all of you who might still have your matches to do, good luck with your matches, and if you haven't checked out this tour before, try to find them on Facebook, and if you want to play, it's kind of a different, interesting format. It can be a lot of fun, so yeah, feel free to check it out. And I just joined myself, and the matches can just be a little bit different, it's kind of off the wall things that you're not used to doing, so it just kind of brings some new interesting things to just try out, clubs you wouldn't usually deal with. Quarterback, you start to learn quarterback. It's just stuff that you wouldn't usually do, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to. If you have any other comments or suggestions, feel free to comment on the video and share it if you wish to do so. And good luck out there for anybody who hasn't played their tournament yet.